Recap from last time. You guys finished off your short rest and proceeded through the Plain of Fires district of Foundry, finding very little people, very little life in general. This was, of course, startling to Rose and Dacian as well, as none of their guards walking about, even though the sky had returned to normal, no one seemed to be out and about. You did stumble upon another body that was well into the decaying phase of the body basically breaking down, but in a very bizarre manner, before hearing the sounds of fighting further north near the portal itself. Upon arriving at the portal, you discovered that the mage in blue and white robes that you had encountered previously, the rather fuzzy looking one, had rather easily taken out the guard captain and four other guards before channeling their essence into a monstrosity before you had to put the monstrosity down after they vanished. The battle was long, the battle was hard, it was well fought, but in the end you stood victorious and passed into the portal into the plane of fire, where you sort of made a beeline to the Obsidian Palace. With Prism in tow, you were able to approach the Fire Lord quite easily and basically handed her off to Leonard. Leonard had his advisor take Prism off to the side to an unknown location, close to you, before he unveiled that there's something going on with the planes. He doesn't know exactly what, doesn't know why, and he asked for your help. He hasn't forced you to decide yet, and instead left you with essentially a pseudo ultimatum of, look, I can help you, help me. If you don't, then there's nothing I can do. After that, he showed you a quick route back to the tavern itself. And it was through a room that had very strange looking windows, including your employer, kind of hiding out inside. But you got to pass through back into the tavern to lick your wounds and rest for the night. We have a few things to do before you actually begin the next day, however. Mm-hmm. Testing. Any better?
Okay, yeah, I'm back in now. Sorry about that.
Hold on, you're cutting out a lot.
Hmm.
Alright, that came through.
Okay. Are
Alright.
we good now?
Yeah, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. So, we have a few things to work through before the next morning. I'm going to roll a 1d4, and whoever it lands on will be going first. Dacian will be not be joining us this session as they are not feeling well. They'll be returning next session, however. So, Rose is first. Okay.
Joy.
Rose, as you settle down for the evening, you find yourself unable to sleep. Instead, you decide to head out for a walk around the town. Since you know you're able to do so with incredible ease, as no one's going to stop you, you decide to sort of get up and just kind of leave the tavern for now. Hopefully no outsiders will be about, as of course, this is basically the curfew hours, and you should be alone for the most part. Let me switch the music. Oh, whoops. You head out into the streets of the Feydark Commons. It's almost uncannily quiet. Typically in the Feydark Commons, you know, you would hear the giggles of fairies, the laughter of whatever gesture-like creature would be lurking in the halls, but you find that there's nothing there. There's no signs of life, no guards, or anything but silence. What do you do?
Uh, well, I mean, this doesn't seem a whole lot different than what it was a few hours ago. Um, I'm going to still keep on my way here, but at the same time be just a little bit wary. Still a little bit on edge there. So,
Mm-hmm. As you kind of walk down the street, can you give me a perception check, please?
that might be doable.
Okay. You don't notice anything. Not immediate, at the very least. Again, you pretty much feel as if you're alone. Nothing's following you, there's no one around you. Sometimes you'll occasionally glance up to look around as you pass through the district. However, you kind of get past one particular building, a rather tall looking building that has very, it's almost as if the building itself was made from a giant mushroom itself. The doorway is completely open, there's actually no door. And inside there is a bright, warm light that seems to be almost inviting you in. What do you do?
So there's windows to this building?
Yes, but you cannot reach them.
Okay. Um, I'm going to kind of step up carefully and
Mhm.
I'll try to listen through the door, I guess.
Okay. There actually is no door. As you approach, you'll see that the actual, like, what had been a wooden frame seems to completely vanish for several seconds, almost as if it blips out of reality the moment you get close enough. Inside, you see sort of a round room, a room that shouldn't physically be able to fit within this building. But you immediately recognize this sort of magic as fey magic, as it allows it to be different on the inside than it is on the outside, to sort of trick people and to also accommodate the fey themselves. However, what you find inside is a completely empty room. Do you enter or do you leave?
Uh, against all rationality, I enter.
As you enter Rose, every step you take, you notice that the room extends further and further and further until some actual furniture begins to form on the edge of your vision. This furniture is very familiar to you. You continue walking forward, however, and you begin to hear laughs, noises, almost cheerful noises as you continue along the hallway as it begins to refurnish itself more and more as you move through it. These are the halls of your previous Fey Masters. However, as you turn to look behind you to try to leave, there's a wall. What do you do?
Ah, yeah, this did kind of smell like fate bullshit. So so the furniture in front of me. You said there's a chair and what else?
It's a hallway now. It's
Oh, it's
actually
hallway.
transformed into a hallway the more you've moved forward. And it's actually begun to take on the appearance of the home of your previous Fey Masters.
Um, well, okay. Well, since I've already made this bed and now I'm laying in it, I'm just gonna kind of shove my hands inside my blazer pockets and I'm just gonna strut down here and see where this theater of the absurd takes us.
Okay. The hallway continues on, almost as if it's stretching more and more. And up ahead of you, you see a set of doors. You hear voices behind it. Familiar voices. But there is one voice that is not familiar to you. You approach the door and you actually see it cracks open a little bit, allowing you to see inside. Inside, you actually see a robed figure talking with your previous masters. They're speaking in hushed tones almost, but the robed figure seems to be motioning a lot wildly with its hands as it speaks to these creatures. Can you roll me a perception? Okay. You're actually able to make out something of what they're saying. It seems that this hooded figure, this robed figure, is trying to convince your previous masters to do something. And they're mentioning your name, your real name. However, before your masters are able to agree to anything, you see the figure turn around and face you in the doorway. You recognize the robes as being blue and white. You see the face of the person that's talking to the Fey Masters. It's a familiar face now, but the voice doesn't match. It's the face of someone you knew in your time with the guild. And they smile at you. The moment you see the smile, everything goes dark, and you awaken inside your inn room as if you had just fallen asleep.
No, this is like simultaneously IC and OOC right now. But yeah, Roast just their eyes snap open and just they kind of lurch up into a sitting position.
Mhm.
What the fuck? And
Yes.
just then Rose stands up and running hands through their kind of fiery hair, then they're gonna look out their window, just kind of get an idea of what time it is.
From the looks of it, it looks to be early morning for you. There are people in the streets, there are guards walking around. It seems like everything's gone back to normal. Perhaps you had had a strange dream, a nightmare, or maybe even some sort of feverish recreation of who knows what in your mind. It's hard to say.
Oh. Well, this is a joyful start. Yeah, with that, Rose is going to exit their room and head down the staircase there from above.
All right, and with that, we're going to move on to another member of the party. We're going to roll once again. 1, 2, 3. Flicks, you're up next. Before you had settled down for the night, you decide to check in with Jericho. However, as you begin to head upstairs and over to the room that the Fae Court that you're working for shares, you kind of notice that there's something off. The door, which is normally open, is closed. What do you do?
I'm going to knock.
You knock, and
Yeah.
nothing seems to happen. In fact, you kind of hear hushed murmuring after you knock.
I put my ear up against the door.
The murmuring seems to stop. You hear the motion of chairs and tables, but nothing comes to the door.
Okay then. Well, I'm just going to open the door.
Okay. You open the door up. Inside, all the lights are off. This is very strange. You don't see Jericho anywhere, nor do you even see his companion, Florence, the large night-like creature that often follows him around. Instead, you notice that the room seems a little discombobulated. There's papers on the floor, there's some chairs knocked over, and there's just an eerie, uneasy feeling that you're getting from the entire room.
Ready my paper bag.
Do you want to enter the room? Do you want to investigate the room at all?
I will sort of wander around it, just seeing what I can find.
Go ahead and roll me a perception, please. Okay.
Perceive.
You kind of peek your head further into the room. You're trying to find Jericho. You're trying to find any source of life, but you kind of notice something out of the corner of your eye coming from another of the branch-off rooms. What is normally the kind of study for your mentor seems to have a bizarre amount of light in a color that shouldn't radiate from it. So you kind of move over, keeping to the wall, trying to keep quiet, because you're not quite sure what's happening. And you'll peer into the room and you notice something strange. One of the walls is completely torn open, but not to the outside. You see twirling, twisting, thorny vines are sprouted almost from the edges of this hole that's made in the wall. And
Another dimension.
the hole just seems to go deeper and deeper, but you do see that the thorns themselves, the vines, have bright blue flowers, or are those butterflies?
You like butterflies. I would like to touch one.
As you kind of reach out to touch one of the glowing flowers or butterflies, it kind of dissipates into shimmers before fading away into whatever blue light created it. The vine itself, below it, also recoils a little bit at your touch, almost as if it's alive.
I'm insulted. I am beautiful. You should feel privileged to be touched by my hand. I'm gonna sit there and just mock the vine now.
As you mock the vine, you kind of hear shuffling behind you, the sound of clanking armor coming from the shadows.
Finally, somebody that will understand my beauty and grace. I turn to be found, expecting it to be somebody that likes me.
Roll me a dexterity save. Okay, great. Okay. So, as you kind of spin around to greet whatever figure has finally come forth, you immediately just get this feeling in your gut and you duck as a blade swings over your head and hits the wall.
And I let out a girlish scream.
Do you run?
Yes.
All right. Filled with adrenaline, you bolt out of the room. You're pretty much screaming the entire time, and you slam the door behind you as you hear a rush of metal coming up to the door, almost like it's charging, but nothing comes of it. It all goes quiet.
I'm just going to be leaning against the door crying, saying I'm too beautiful to die. Oh my god, I have a pyramid head. Oh no.
However, as you sit there, you kind of cry and kind of panic. You try to wrap your head around what just occurred there. And you notice that, of course, there's no more sound coming from the room. There's no sound of whatever had been in there walking away. Nothing.
Okay. I am going to take some Decoding of Caution tape and put it against the door, and then I'm going to walk away like nothing.
Alright. So you're going to head to your room for the night?
Yep.
Alright. So that leaves just 2 more people. Let's see. It's Vari or Tibbs? Vari. Alright. I have a special.
So
Something
last
special.
time Varius had been, he'd started a ritual casting.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to play into this. So, let me just do something real quick. Act. Music will play correctly. Let me check the cue real quick. Excellent. All right. Throughout the night, you've been basically starting this ritual in order to read what was on the ring inscription, if I'm right.
Yep.
Okay. You finally are able to conclude your spell. The inscription inside the ring lights up. However, it's suddenly switched from infernal into primordial, as if whoever inscribed this ring originally wrote it in primordial, but then translated it into infernal. This language you can read. However, as you begin to read the ring, you can't make out the words. It's almost as if it's gibberish. But the more you try to decipher it, the sleepier you begin to get. Begin to fall asleep. So, do you want to fight it, or will you allow it?
You know what? Go with it.
Alright. You kind of allow the sleep to overtake you. Your eyes slowly fall shut as you lay back. But then, as you fall into a sleep, you see something in front of you. You're standing somewhere else. In front of you is a stairwell. There's a green mist that sort of coats the entire area. You hear nothing around you aside from the dull roar of wind that seems to be coming from the outside, but There's nothing behind you, no way out. The only way forward is down. What do you do?
This isn't an SCP, is it?
No. Some inspiration was taken, yes, I admit, but this is different.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. He, will start to look around carefully.
Mhm.
I'm guessing Bellowa isn't with him.
No, Bellowa's not with you.
Okay, so he's going to look around and...
Mhm.
Should I make a perception?
If you would like to, yes. Alright, didn't need a very high DC, but you got it. You kind of start looking around. You notice that the hand railings, the walls, are made of very smooth, well-polished stone almost. The walls are not cold, though. They're actually kind of warm, as if there's some sort of heating in this area, but the air itself feels cold. It's a bit perplexing. However, you kind of take a few steps down as you're trying to perceive the room ahead of you, and you see that indeed the staircase does indeed continue to go down further. You hear sounds. It's not crying or speaking or anything, but you almost hear shuffling, walking, as if someone is pacing far down below you.
He's got a fairly good idea that this is probably due to the ring. The same ring that has been doing some weird stuff, and...
Mm-hmm. That would be a very easy conclusion to reach, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably going to haul her down the stairs.
Alright.
Because it's pretty clear that there's not much reason for stealth. If there's something there, it knows he's there.
Very true. Very good. You kind of head down the stairs itself. Your paws don't really make much sound as it's smooth stone with your paws. And the stairwell goes down at least 4 floors before you notice that it curves into an actual room. It doesn't keep going down or anything like that, but the room itself is a very square and geometrically symmetrical room, almost too clean, as if it's artificial in a way. But ahead of you, at the very end of this room, is a cell. You see a row of bars from floor to ceiling, and you see a figure pacing back and forth behind the bars.
Varius is going to slowly approach the bars, but try to keep a little bit of distance as he politely into a fist.
Alright. As you sort of clear your throat, you see the figure stop. It's hard to see down here. There's very little light, but the figure does seem to be tall. You can't really make up any features outside of the fact that it seems to be wearing almost ragged clothing. But it kind of looks towards you, and you kind of see the soft, glinting green of the glow of its eyes, and it stares at you. What do you say?
So, I assume you're the one who's been occasionally poking me?
The figure stares at you for several seconds before it approaches the bars. Now that it's a little closer, you can actually see some features to it. Instead of a face, it has a mask. The very blank mask with 2 eye holes that peer out at you with soft, glowing green eyes. Its clothing looks almost aristocratic in a way, but it's tattered, beaten, worn, as if it's been through something. As if several pieces of its body have been shredded open. It stares down at you, before speaking in a very whispery type of voice that seems to come from the back of your head. You're the first person that has finally found the means to communicate with. It's been a long time.
Well, it would certainly help if it wasn't quite so ominous, such as the horrible sinking feelings and let me out, let me out.
it will actually turn and look at the bars, raising up one hand to kind of grab one. But as it tries to grab it, you see a flash of light, and it recoils, its hand smoldering. I would not be wanting out if I weren't trapped in here, little one.
He snorts softly. And then it's like, so, who are you? He speaks with some confidence, as he figures it's better to be blunt rather than play at games.
You may call me Pride.
Oh, that's not ominous at all. And why exactly are you
I was
like
used.
this?
I was used. I was an experiment. An experiment for binding a soul, such as myself, to an item to imbue it with power. At a cost, of course.
Right. And what exactly are you?
It kind of motions to the world around you. The green tinting walls, the fog, the darkness. I don't suppose you've ever heard of a primordial, have you, little one?
Well, funny you would say that.
It kind of peers at you questioningly.
There's sort of several around here.
Around here. I am still on the plains, then.
As far as I can tell, yes.
Good. Good. That is good. But tell me, little one, do you know of negative?
He sort of pauses, his ears sort of quirking to the side as he considers and quickly shakes his head. Not really. I know the other elements.
We are one of two hidden elements that the world is yet ignorant of. Ignorance that cost us a lot, cost us lives, and made us a victim of the ones that strapped me into this ring.
And who exactly trapped you?
An organization of terrible people that seek to destroy everything this place is.
He sort of... You see him almost flinch as he's like, oh great. This is wonderful. And he rubs his chin. So, if you are a primordial and not something else entirely,
Roll an insight.
alrighty. Oh, this isn't gonna go well. Oh, it went better than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm. You actually get the feeling that he's telling the truth. In fact, he seems very sure of himself, almost as if he's sorrowful to be talking to you right now.
Alright. But he Varius considers this for a moment and is finally like, well then, I have 2 questions.
Very well. I have nowhere to go. Therefore, I am at your mercy.
He cringes at that, but finally goes, 1, do you have any idea of how I'd go about freeing you? And 2, what would I get out of it?
For your first question, that is what I do not know. The method of this prison's creation is still something that even I don't understand. You would think that being trapped inside of a prison like this, a magical prison, would allow one to study its interior, but my captors made sure that was not the case. If anything, this would need to be put into the hands of someone that could figure it out, someone that has experience with arcane prisons, in a way. As for what you get out of it, well, I suppose then I can give you the question of my own. What do you hope to get out of this? Or will you let me sit here and do as you will with the item itself?
Between you and me, I don't like using people. Which may seem a little bit odd, considering he says this even though he's pretty sure that this person doesn't understand.
Mm-mm.
But he shifts from one foot to the other. Do you know where your people are? Or where I could find somebody who might be able to help? I can certainly do research on my own, but
They tend to hide. After all, much like a poor outsider, they are hunted, killed, treated less than the dirt below their feet. You would have to search out for them in the underbelly of the entirety of the plains. However, it's been a long time. It's felt like years in here. I don't know how much time has actually passed on the outside. I don't know where they might be. You'll have to search them out.
is there anything I can do to make it a little less the emotions at the bars prison-y?
I don't know. As I've said, I have spent my every waking moment in this prison trying to study a way out. To study a way to get out of here, to change it in any ways, but every time it just reverts back to what it originally was.
Various paces, first one way and then the other, still tapping his chin.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty sure that he can trust, or at least that this person believes what they're saying.
Mm-hmm. And they very much do.
Though that still doesn't mean he can necessarily trust them.
And that's perfectly valid.
He makes a small chuffing noise as he thinks, and finally stops in front of the cage. So, I'll
Down right back at him, almost like an unblinking stare.
I've been around long enough to hear that this place runs on favors.
Indeed it does.
If I help you get out of this, would you be willing to owe me a favor?
I believe that would be a fair trade.
Varius nods faintly. tapping their foot against the ground. Very well. But turn on me, and I will drop this ring to the bottom of the... He sort of thinks. He hasn't really seen any wells, though he did see a molten lake of lava.
Well, then I'll be sure not to turn on you. However, might I know the name of the one carrying this prison, then?
And Varius considers this very carefully. And finally says, "For now, you can call me Markin."
Very well, Master Markin.
And
Then,
he nods and says, "Deal then."
indeed so. I would reach my hand out to offer you a means of sealing it, but he looks at the bars. That's not quite in my range of motion.
Oh, it's fine. Well,
I must enlighten you to one thing, however, since you plan to carry this around with you. Though it does imbue the one who holds it with some minor form of protection and power, please know that when you do use it, it's pulling from me. It is my power. And the more you draw from it, the weaker I will become.
like I said, I'm not planning on using you.
People do strange things when in dire circumstances. I just needed to let you know.
The his nose twitches, but he finally nods, still looking a little bit suspicious.
And I would recommend that you keep me at least in your possession. If I were to fall into the hands of another, well, they may not be the same as you. They may not be as... Oh, what's the word? He kind of waves a hand, reserved and understanding of what they might be holding. Some would see this as a simple magical ring. They would not know that it holds the soul of a poor man who met an unfortunate end.
They eye him for a moment, or them, and slowly nod.
Next time, however, if you choose to visit, I suppose, simply put the ring on and utter my name. Just don't be standing around nowhere where it's easy to fall down and hit your head on something, after all.
Understood.
Now, I believe it should be time for you to leave, wouldn't it, Master Markin? And
About that, how do I exactly do that?
the figure will actually look over your head behind you. And behind you, the stairwell is gone, replaced with a single door with a bright green light over it.
Various huffs, slowly going towards the door. But it looks like it's about the only option, so he does eventually go through.
Mm-hmm. And Various, the moment you step through, your entire world goes black. The room behind you is gone, and you feel as if you're laying down on something. You're finally able to open your eyes and realize you are back in your inn room. The ring is sitting next to you on the bed, and Balua is just kind of sitting there, staring at you. You do see that there is light coming in from the window of your room. It seems to be morning.
Wow, that wasn't very restful sleep.
Now you know what's inside the ring.
Yeah.
Do you want to do anything before I move on to the final person?
I think that all that Varius is going to be doing is he's going to put the ring in his pocket and probably work on Balua a little bit.
All right. And then we finally move on to the last member of the party, Tibbs. Your turn. Let me switch over the music. Actually, keep the music for now. So, Tibbs, I believe you wanted to do something.
Yes.
Turn you way up because I cannot hear you. You sound very far away.
Give me a second.
There you are.
Better?
There you are. All right. So, you wanted to speak to Leonard, if I remember correctly. Oh, geez. Wow. I cannot hear you. What the hell?
I'll bring myself up even more.
All right. See if that reconnects. Try again. I cannot. Okay, hold on. Speak again.
Hello?
There you are. All right. Cool.
All right.
All right. So, Tibbs, how do you want to go about seeing Leonard again?
I'm going to try and remember the path we took here.
Mm-hmm. Now, that wasn't very hard. In fact, as you kind of leave your inn room, noticing that everyone's gone to sleep, it's very quiet. So you kind of head over to the door that you remember coming through, and you'll kind of creak it open and kind of peer in. Do you just bust right in, or do you want to look around first?
I want to look around first.
All right, go ahead and roll me a perception.
Oh, boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's completely clear. No one's in the room at all. You just kind of waltz right in.
Perfect. As it should be.
But as you kind of waltz in, you kind of hear a as you pause, as you're heading to the door that you remember coming through that went to the fire plane, and you see a tall, feather-robed figure in an almost avian-looking mask kind of staring down at you from a bookshelf that's right next to the door.
No. Would you by chance know where Leonard is?
The figure kind of looks over you silently, and then, without saying a word, will kind of move its hand very slowly and point to the door that you were heading to.
Ah, thank you. That's where I thought he was. Excellent.
And it just kind of watches you as you approach the door. It's never blinking, unbreaking stare. And you open it.
Tibbs is going to open the door, look back at the figure, and just shrug and go through.
Switch you over here. And let me get some other music playing. Lots of music today.
And all of them will be copyright struck.
Hopefully not. All right. So you kind of enter in the hallway of the Obsidian Castle, as you know it as. The hallway is exactly the same as before. The lighting hasn't changed or anything. But you don't really see anyone right now. So where do you want to go?
He's going to wait for approximately half a second, and be patient, and then he's going to start moving forward and calling out, "Leonard! Leonard!"
All right. You kind of head down the hall, and as you're calling out Leonard's name, and no one really answers. But you kind of reach kind of where the throne room area was, because you remember this kind of was an offshoot of the throne room.
Yeah.
And you kind of walk in there, and you see Leonard's talking with someone. The figure is a very tall, almost female-looking figure, but this one isn't the same blue one that he had been talking to earlier. This figure is armored in almost earthen-looking armor with gem-like stones for eyes and very long, almost earthen-colored hair. And you kind of waltz right in, kind of calling out Leonard's name, and the Fire Lord kind of pauses, and you see his ears pull back a little bit as he kind of turns and looks towards you, looks back at the figure he's talking to, then back at you.
Apologies, I did not know that you were occupied. Oh, wait.
Actually, we were just finishing on. I'm so sorry. He kind of goes back to the figure, and she kind of looks down at him and gives a small, knowing smile before turning to leave. And Leonard will let out this huge, relieved sigh before he turns towards you, Tiberius, as the female figure walks off down the hall and vanishes. It's like, I did not expect you to be back here so soon.
Many people don't expect me to do many things. That being said, I'm sorry if I ruined your plans for the evening.
Oh, no, we were just some catching up, you see.
Ah, no flame. I've got you.
What? He kind of gives you a deadpan stare. It's like, I appreciate the pun, but as for the meaning behind it, no.
Pun?
No. Now, what can I do for you?
I was wondering if I could speak to you for a few moments. I'm terribly sorry for having interrupted you with whomever you were speaking with. I'm sure it was vital. But I have some questions that have been nagging at me for quite a bit now.
Of course. Actually, please walk with me. Standing in the throne room is quite dreadful sometimes. I've been meaning to renovate it after the last Fire Lord. And he'll actually begin leading you through another set of halls with large, almost gemstone-looking pillars. At least they look like giant tubular gemstones that have a bright glow emanating from the bottom of them. But as you kind of look over the pillars, you notice that it's not a glow. They're sitting in a pool of magma that's creating the glow. But there is a pathway for you to walk through between them.
I'm quite surprised I'm not a flame.
Oh, well, it's my castle. I can kind of choose who and who it does not completely incinerate.
Ah, well, speaking of whom and who, I have a question for you. That creature, Prism, I believe its name was, why do you want...
Ah, I see. Prism is a unique creature, you see, as you've no doubt come to understand.
Yes.
But its owner is a good friend of, well, mine, for one, and her people have a bit of an arrangement with me. And, well, when it comes down to a Tarask, they grow, and they grow quite quickly. And considering how unstable Prism is, they felt it was best that they hand it over to someone who is a little bit more capable and has more room to,
let it frolic and play. I understand.
Essentially, we have offered her safe haven in case she does blow up or get too big.
That was quite terrifying. I will admit that.
Considering that they're adults, when they become adults, they're about 50 feet tall. Yes.
They're what now?
Well, when a Tarask reaches maturity, they're about 50 feet tall.
That is absolutely terrifying. Let's change the subject, shall we?
Yes, please.
I do have to ask something. You said that you specifically lowered the heat for outsiders not to feel so unaccommodated when they come into your domain. Can I ask you a very important question? Do all primordials share your generous trait, or are they more predispositioned to dislike outsiders?
Leonard kind of will pause and stop walking. He'll look out to the pools of magma before turning to look at you, Tiberius, and there's a very downcast and sorrowful look on his face. I'm afraid I'm a rarity among my kind, Mr. Tiberius.
Oh, okay, that's fine. But just lucky for me to have found you then. But I do have a question for you. You see, Rose, that is his name, the one made of flames, yes? The one who's with us?
Yes, one of the formlings I've been looking after.
Does he share your noble predisposition towards our
He is aware, but he's free to make his own decisions based off of outsiders.
What an excellent turn of phrase, decision. Would you condone him using magic to force someone's will to be better?
You kind of see Leonard think for a few seconds. It's like, well, me, personally, I would condone it. I do not enjoy being used against one's will. That comes from personal experience, but if it was someone else doing it, there's not a lot I can say against it.
Well, you see, he did something to me, and it was reminiscent of a terrible scar that I have on my psyche. And I just wanted to warn you that if he continues this, you may be down one of your disciples. I just want to let you know, man to man.
Leonard suddenly looks very serious. You know that is a very serious thing to promise for an outsider, Mr. Tiberius.
Do I look like I'm joking, sir?
Do I look like I'm joking?
No, and that is why I thought it would be wise to bring it to your attention that if your charge continues to act this way, I will have to deal with him, as you said, through my own means, because that would be my choice.
Then I must warn you as well. If you choose to do something in that case, nothing will save you from the law of this land. For an outsider to attack a primordial, even accidentally, is death. No one will care if it's an act of self-defiance or self-defense. You're an outsider attacking a native. If you do this, if you act on it, I will be forced to act.
So then, there is no detriment for him to have done this. If I were to, in fact, even the odds, I would be put to death. And you are telling me that this is the way of the...
This is the way of the plains. You see, Mr. Tiberius, in the elemental planes, outsiders have no rights. This is the land of the primordials. This is our world.
And yet you ask outsiders to help you with your problem.
I'm a different case, but you'll find that if you had told that to another lord, they would have cut you down on the spot. Me, I'm willing to give you a chance. I am warning you that this path that you decide to take, if you take it, will have repercussions.
Oh,
I am warning you.
It's an excellent warning, and I'm telling you that if your charge continues to act as though he has domain over my choices, I will make a choice.
Leonard kind of raises a brow at Tiberius. I'm starting to think that you don't quite understand who's in charge here, Mr. Tiberius.
Power is always based on the subject.
I will tell you this now. It's not you. It's me. It's the other lords.
And this is why I specifically came to you and asked for your decision on this. You have decided that you will do nothing. That's perfectly fine. That is your decision to make, good sir. I will accept the consequences of my actions so long as I'm the one who makes that choice.
He holds a finger up. I did not say I would do nothing.
I didn't say that you'd punish him.
I said I would punish you.
Like I said, you will do nothing for what he has done to me, but you will punish me if I do something to him. I fully understand the situation.
That is why you must do nothing. I know what it is like to be controlled. I know what it is like to do something against your will. But in this case, is your life really worth it?
Oh, that is an excellent question, and the answer is yes. If I am to make my own choices, I will die by those choices that I make.
You do know what dying means here, don't you?
It
You were
It
not
means, it means that I die and I become one of whatever these things are that you are, and then I apparently have power.
to an extent, but not the power that I have.
I don't know. I wouldn't expect that. You've been here for quite a long time, and I've been a year, and you.
Time has nothing to do with it, Mr. Tiberius. I am the elemental lord of fire. I am the god of fire. I am not simply a ruler. I am not a king. I am not a politician. I am this world's god. Do you have gods where you come from, Mr. Tiberius?
We have the moon, and their twin. We have the snake beneath.
Now, have your gods ever done anything to you?
Other than have me born in one of the most vile families known to man? No.
They have no power here.
They barely have power at home.
You are no longer home, though, Mr. Tiberius. This is not your home. Your laws do not apply here. I would suggest that you learn the laws of this land and come to understand them before you lose your life because of them. You may be willing to lay your life down for something like this, but at the same time, you do not know what you're getting yourself into as a result.
Hardly ever do. Hasn't stopped me yet.
He takes a breath and is like, if it does anything to deter you from destruction, I will speak to Rose.
Oh. A god speaking to a follower would be quite around the alley of being an excellent deterrent of me doing anything, as you would say, stupid. However, my thing still stands. If he compels me to do something that I do not wish to do, my choice is my choice.
I only hope that you do not do such thing against those who are more willing to cut you down where you stand. You are lucky that I am far kinder to outsiders than any of the other lords.
And that is something I will take into note.
If this had been anyone else, you would no longer be standing here at the mere mention of having a primordial. Glacia would have shot you, Moderoct would have cut you down the center, Catherine, the one I had just been talking to, would have crushed you under the earth's very stones. You're very fortunate.
And I thank you for your kindness, O great god of flame.
What else do you need?
No, honestly, that was pretty much it. Just wanted to make sure that we knew where we stood. You are a god, I am a mortal. I have no power here, and that's fully understandable. And I believe you said that you would speak to Rose for his unsightly act.
I will.
I think it went well.
But only for your sake, Mr. Tiberius.
Thank you for caring so much about me.
I care because I'm one of the few who has the ability to do so. So many others are so old that they have forgotten what it was like to be mortal. We were all there once.
Excellent. So tomorrow we head out to help you then.
If your group has chosen to do so, but...
I'm sure Varius will come. He's always interested in something new. And myself, I've already said I'm doing it. And once I've said that I'm going to do something, well, in all honesty, it would take quite a few Varga tearing me limb for limb to stop me from doing that, as I'm sure Varius can attest to.
It's an admirable trait, Mr. Tiberius, but at the same time, do be careful. Not all roads are safe.
The best roads aren't.
I know, but sometimes the best roads are paved with good intentions but end to ruin. Just as a warning.
A warning, excellent taken. Thank you very much, good sir. How do I get back to my room?
The same way as you went. He kind of points you down the hall. It's like, head to the throne room. You should be able to tell yourself where to go from there, after all.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
You kind of leave Leonard as you head into the halls with a little bit of a bounce in your step. It's like, it's fine. He'll talk to Rose. He'll make him stop. Right. Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine.
As far as Tiberius considers,
I will.
As far as Tiberius considers this conversation to have gone,
And I'm an ambassador, so I don't care what the fucking lords think. You want a political war with the Fae? Oh, I will give you a fucking political war with the Fae.
Alright. So, as you kind of start heading back to the halls, you head to the room that leads back to the tavern. You open it up, and the figure that was there before is still there. Still watching you.
Sir, thank you very much. I found him.
It's kind of creepy.
It's very creepy. He's saying that out loud. It's very creepy you're staring at me like that. Did I do anything to you? Have I slept with one of your wives?
It just stares at you. It doesn't say anything. At all. So let me switch back to the tavern. Oops, I accidentally closed out of Roll20. Whoopsie. I closed the wrong window. It's fine.
Tiberius is going to stare back for a bit and he's like, do I owe you a tip?
It just stares at you.
Very well, let's see what I've got. He'll reach into his pocket and pull out some Gardenian currency and be like, 3, 4?
It just continues to stare at you.
He's going to walk up and offer the money to the staring bird creature thing.
Alright, let me launch game real quick so I can wait for it to load. Because I need to, once it loads, to roll a perception for me.
Oh, boy. I'm a Viking at perception, and by Viking I mean I get rated all the time.
It's really... What the fuck?
Wow.
Did you say a girl was a roll -1?
Yes.
I didn't even know that was possible.
It's not even a nat 1, it's a nat 0.
Like I said, I didn't even think that was possible.
It is, if you have a negative modifier, it is very possible. I've done it myself. You kind of walk up to this figure, Tibbs, you're staring right at him. It's like, why isn't he talking? Why isn't he doing anything? He's just staring at you.
Does he have any pockets?
No, he has no pockets. It's just a big robe that seems to be made of raven feathers. But yeah,
some of the money and some of the feathers.
Wait, you do what?
I'd like to stick the currency in what I believe to be a fold of feathers and just like pat it and be like, "There you go, good sir. Thank you."
The coins just kind of fall out and clatter to the floor.
I can look at them, look back up, look at the coins. Well, they're yours. Good day.
And it kind of just watches you leave. You do kind of turn back to kind of give a cheeky little smile, but then you finally notice that its lips are stitched together.
Oh, they do that to them here too, do they? All right. Cheerio!
Alright, so you head back to your room for the night?
Yes, and I have completely won Leonard over. This is obvious. We are now besties.
Alright, so you kind of bound your way out of the room and you return to your own room to get a good night's rest. And it's now finally the next day. You all wake up to each of your own experiences. Rose is feeling kind of weird, very much what the fuck, wondering what the hell he just witnessed as he kind of heads down into the tavern itself. Flix, you spent a good portion of the night panicking, wondering what the hell, trying to forget what happened. Still a little shaky this morning as you head back down as well.
It's just pyramid head, it's okay.
Tiberius, you had a great night's sleep. Fantastic. Nothing went wrong.
Nothing at all. I mean, Leonard's going to do exactly what I asked of him. That is the perfect way of diplomacy, and I'm not dead.
Alright, you guys can go ahead and move your tokens to wherever you want, but Varius, you kind of head down and you're deep in thought. Billu is kind of following behind you, kind of sauntering behind you, but you have a lot on your mind. All the things happened yesterday, and then, of course, the thing last night. But Auntie greets all of you as you come downstairs and offers you, of course, breakfast and a drink. The tavern is actually quite lively right now. There are several people that are all around. They're enjoying meals, enjoying drinks. There's a lot of fae in the room, so have fun with that one, Rose. Auntie would actually look at you, Tibbs, with a big bright smile. It's like, well, glad to hear it. I'm glad to see you slept well, though rest
Oh.
didn't seem to be much.
Like a kit. It was wonderful.
Fantastic. She'll look over at you, Varius. It's like, so how'd you sleep?
He lets out a little bit of a groan, rubbing his eyes.
I think I know what'll rub the sleep right out of their eyes. I've got good news for both of you.
What's that?
Well, I was able to get in contact with my friend late last night, and they hooked me up with someone that could potentially help you two out. They
Oh, the magic stone thingies.
Yes, they should be on their way here in a couple hours. They had some things to take care of first and foremost with a friend. Why is there two ghosts? What the hell?
Oh my god, I have clones! Run, clone Tiberius!
Hold on. No, I don't think so.
Damn it!
I think there's another Varius as well.
Oh, what the hell?
We're bunnies, we multiply.
Okay, I see it. Hold on. I didn't notice that because my screen was kind of weird. Okay, there you go.
It's all good.
That makes perfect sense.
No, but
There we go.
no, but what if we talked about making cinder-crullums on off hours?
Sorry. All right. Flix. As you kind of approach the bar, Auntie looks at you. It's like, oh, Flix. I heard you screaming last night. Is everything okay, hon?
Terrors. Lots and lots of night terrors.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
My little truffles here took care of those night terrors by cuddling.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I heard some weird happenings upstairs. I wasn't sure if that was related to you lot or not.
Yeah, oh, just night terrors.
Oh, hopefully next time will be better. Then she'll kind of peer over at you, Rose. It's like, you look like you slept like hell. I didn't think Primordials slept much.
Rose just kind of runs their hands through their hair. It's looking a little bit disheveled at the moment. Huh. Gee, I wonder why that is.
Well, here, let me give you guys some drinks and a meal on the house to get you all nice and perked up. She actually will go around to each of you and kind of set a pastry onto a plate, as well as giving you some what looks to be sparkling apple drink, at the very least. And she'll kind of set one on each plate for you guys and kind of put one in front of Varius, put one in front of Rose, Tibbs, Flix, and she'll even cut one in half for Truffles.
Oh, Truffles, thank you.
But then she'll kind of look at all of you. It's like, your other friend came on down earlier this morning, says that he's going to be keeping some work on with the book that old Leonard gave him, so they're going to be staying upstairs for now. They've already gone ahead and paid a favor for their room.
Various snorts.
Can I ask for one other thing, too?
Of course.
I'd also like a glass of hot tea with real leaves, mind you. I don't do that soggy packet crap.
Alright, I know what you want. And she'll kind of get a nice mug out, and she'll get a kettle from the back on the little burner stove that she has. And she'll actually set a mesh ball onto the counter and put some leaves into it, close it up, drops it into the mug, and then pours the hot water over it before pushing the mug over to you.
Thank you.
Anything I can get for any of y'all while we're waiting for my friend to come on over here to help with your little sigil problem?
I think the pastries and the drink are perfectly fine, Auntie. You are truly a hostess without...
I try. So I'll give you guys a little bit to mingle. So I get this token ready.
Do flying pigs eat rabbit?
No.
Then why does it keep sniffing my ears?
Oh, maybe.
Mhm.
I think he just wants you. He gets kind of drooly when he's anxious or happy.
I think that animals just like you, considering your
What
reaction
isn't there to
yesterday.
like, honestly?
You're
I mean,
also
no. Hmm?
you're fucking adorable. Therefore,
Well-
animals would like you.
Of course I am.
Interfere because you're like eating people.
Flicks?
But adorable.
Flicks?
Yeah.
Varius starts to get up from his seat and makes his way over.
You don't need to get up. I mean, I'm right here. I can hear you. My ears are big. Kind of like yours.
He pauses and dips his head and gosh darn Tibbs taking the warm seat. But
You left your pastry. Nom nom nom.
oh. But Varius dips his head and his ears are pinned back. I wanted to apologize about yesterday when I took a bit of offense at you pointing out my spots.
Oh, that's okay. I didn't know it was a sore point.
It's
It's fine.
how do I put this? Upon further reflection and realizing that most of you don't exactly seem bothered by them, where I come from, having spots or mixed colors is a bit of a negative trait. And when Tiberius there got upset on my behalf, he was trying to defend me. And
I apologize to you two, Marcus. No, Markin? Markin. Is it Markin?
either that or if you really want Varius.
Oh, that's much easier. I apologize to Varius for my eccentricness tends to be a lot for people to handle.
It's fine. It's
But both you and Tibbs are good bunnies. And you're my charges, so I must protect you. And by protect you, I mean have you fight things for me. And make sure you still
What was that last part?
you heard it.
No, I was eating the pastry. Honestly, what was that last part?
It's the part of I'm the ambassador and you're my charges and you're damn well gonna do what I say.
oh.
Uh-oh.
And you there, Mr. Firebrand, if you ever try to control something that belongs to me again, I will put you in the deepest, darkest fairy hole and they will never be able to find you.
Oh.
Rose just kind of holds their teacup up. There's like indoor noises, please. For now, thank you. It goes back to sipping.
Wait. I'm a little confused.
It's very simple. I'm a Fey ambassador. If any of these primordials or lords do anything to upset me or look bad upon the Fey, they risk war with the Fey. It'd be incredibly stupid to insult a foreign body that's in there for the means of peace.
Auntie
And any
slowly looks at
Something that
Flex.
belongs to me, which in this case are my charges, is an attack on me. I was being kind and pleasant before. If you want to see Fey bullshittery, I will give it to you.
Now there's no fighting in my tavern.
I know, Auntie, but I'd like some primordials to know their place.
Varius looks very confused because he sort of went up before all that happened. So he's like, all right. I'll keep that in mind.
Auntie's kind of looking between Flix and Rose.
Rose just side eyes for a moment, but is not at the moment wanting to partake in this conversation and is still satiating themselves.
Now let's just all start over. We have a job to do. We need to get along and do the work. And if we bond so happen to be on the trail, then we bond.
Well, you don't really have much of a job right now. We're waiting on a friend of mine to basically come through for me for two little friends here.
Oh wait, we don't have to do anything right now?
Not right now, no.
Oh yes. I'm gonna take up my guitar and just start playing myself a song.
Roll performance for me.
Is that one of your expertises?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh my god, I just imagine Tiberius just shoving this giant pastry into his maw, like...
2 pastries. He got one from Auntie, and then he got Varius's because Varius left his chair and didn't take it.
Oh
Oh yeah.
no! It is a very delicious pastry.
Yes.
The funny thing is, let me actually roll something, hold on. Okay, so you actually, the pastry that Auntie originally gave you, Tiberius, was cherry. Tiberius's was apple, so now you got an apple and cherry pastry shoved in your mouth.
If this flavor country.
Country?
I have made the right decision today. Everything is coming up Tiberius.
Oh no.
Varius pauses and slowly makes his way over.
I believe Flix gave you his pastry.
Yes.
Because she was cutting in and out when
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. So,
Okay.
yeah. No.
Oh man, I missed that
Our
too.
thing does that a lot. It cuts out randomly.
to get her a good mic. She's got one of those webcam mics.
Needs a lot.
He twitches up an ear as he looks at Rose.
Rose just goes ahead and slides the pastry plate to Varius then. I don't think I'll quite be needing this, but you might later. Last I checked, you still has stomach.
See, we both get 2 pieces.
There's so much food.
Varius pauses, looks back, sees Tiberius devouring his, and deadpans.
Tiberius at this point is literally doing the on his fingers.
Sneaky paws, oh no.
Thank you.
And no, it's not. It has to be something that has to be executed very quickly and wears off within like a minute.
Oh, can't
Yeah.
can't blame someone for trying there.
I think that would be more of a case of diet. I'm sorry about that. Okay. But Auntie does kind of look over at Auntie does kind of look over at you, Varius. It's like, well, if you need something else, like if pastry ain't gonna fill you up, I can get you something else, hon. She also looks at you, Tiberius, for that one too.
No, everything good.
You may want to empty your mouth, hon. I can't hear you.
Everything's good.
I mean, technically they're free. They come with the room, after all.
3 more, please.
I feel like she just doomed herself saying that.
I wouldn't mind something a little extra. I didn't exactly eat much yesterday.
I can get you a lot of different things. I can get you some eggs, some bacon, toast, veggies. What you hungry for, hon?
Wait, does Truffles squeal at the word bacon?
Yeah. And then hide under my hat.
Oh,
It's okay, baby. She didn't mean it.
not magical bacon, just regular bacon.
There's magical bacon?
She's the lesser pigs. It's okay.
This is the Fae Tavern, so yeah, there is.
Maybe some root vegetables. You have them.
All right. She actually takes a little while to goes into the back and kind of gets 3 more pastries for Tiberius and some nice steamed and seasoned root vegetables for you, Varius. But after she sets your plates down, the door actually opens to the front of the tavern, and a figure walks in. A very dusty-looking figure that has a mane that looks has a head of hair that almost looks like it trails down and dissipates in the dust. And let me put you onto the token layer. They're kind of tall, almost look like a goat in a way, like a humanoid goat. And they kind of rather meekly and meagerly kind of wave themselves to the crowd, past the tables, over to the bar, kind of around about here. It's a cow, yeah. And Auntie, once she's done serving you guys, will kind of go over and start talking to them. What do you guys do?
Varius will quickly start to eat his own meal. And not willing to give Tiberius the chance to steal this from him.
Smart.
Would've. I'm not gonna lie. They're delicious. So there's something new, eh?
As you approach Tiberius, you can actually hear Auntie and the strange goat-looking being talking a bit, and they seem to be talking about you guys.
Well, of
In
course they're
fact-
talking about me.
In fact, as you approach Tibbs, Auntie will look at you. It's like, there's one of them right now. And
Yes. I am Remington. That's the name we went with, right, Varius?
It's too late.
and the
I know your name's Tiberius now. Whimsy.
Look what you've done, Varius.
Whimsy.
and you can kind of hear the figure, the goat like figure, kind of lean into Auntie Yarn. He's like, "Are they always like this?" And they sound kind of timid and meek, almost, but she'll give a nod.
Auntie, is this the person who's set to help Varius and I and our friend get those magical stones?
Yes, this is a little Kohana. Let's just say they're quite important, but they don't really get a whole lot of time off. And
More or less important than Leonard?
you can kind of see Kohana kind of raise a hand off and kind of waggle it a little bit. And it's like, I've got some influence.
Excellent.
Influence, you said.
And as you kind of lurch in front of him, kind of leans back a little, like, He's shorter than you, Flix.
That's impressive.
He's actually quite small, yeah. He's not very tall.
Adorable.
He's about 2 inches shorter than you. Though the horns kind of make up for that. And his horns are actually rather large, but they curve backwards. So almost like a satyr-like horns.
Nice. You look like Puck back home.
But he
I
looks...
like your horns.
He's actually colored a lot like a... God, what is the... I forgot the name of it. Yeah, Oryx. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jen. I've forgotten. It's been a long time. Yeah, he's kind of colored like an Oryx. He's got like the soft tan colored almost fur with white accents and long horns with really large floppy ears. But he also looks humanoid, so... But you can definitely tell as you're really close to him, Flix, that he is a primordial. You can actually tell that this one is a primordial because of their eyes. There's sort of have amber-colored eyes with white irises and rings.
It's a primordial?
It's a primordial.
Damn! I look at Rose. Why can't you take a good form like this?
I will pretend I didn't hear that.
And the being kind of frowns. It's like, well, every primordial kind of has their own preferred state, really. I am.
And everything is yours is absolutely beautiful.
Well, I am a dust primordial, so I guess I'm a little different than, say, a fire. It means I'm a muddled. I'm earth and winds rolled into one.
Ah, the sturdiness of the rock, yet the elegance of the wind. Beautiful.
I wouldn't say sturdy.
I could write a song about this. I think I will.
He almost looks past Flix toward Tiberius and Varius and Rose, kind of pleadingly, like,
Nope.
I wish I wish we had gotten a chance to see Flix's reaction to Astrov.
Someday. But
So tell me, what is a primordial like you doing in a bar like this?
well, I'm here at the behest of Auntie to help you.
Oh, you're here to help us? That is wonderful.
Oh, well, yes. Apparently there's 2 outsiders among your group that need stones, and
Yes, my charges. Buns! Come on! Come greet our beautiful, windy, muddy primordial.
yes, I honestly admit I'm sorry I'm a little late, but I had to talk to my friend that is he kind of almost
It'll be quick. Buns, get over here!
1 second.
he kind of almost freezes, like he's unable to say something, and just kind of waits.
Don't make me get teleport magic, guys, because I'll do it.
I mean, you can carry your plate with you if you want, Varius.
Then he will do so.
If he leaves it, he's just losing his pastries. I'm just saying it out loud.
So he's gonna keep it with him, he's smart.
He's gonna keep like one ear shielding it too, like from Tiberius.
Mm-hmm.
Of course he would.
So these are my buns, this is Tibsy Wibsy, and this is Vari.
It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm go ahead and roll a perception for me, Varius, real quick. Because he's trying to yoink something from you.
Trying to get your pastry.
Oh yeah, you catch it.
Oh, that hand is getting
away.
slapped.
Yeah, that hand is smacked away.
He just gives it a light smack. Mine. And you better watch it next time Bellowa's getting involved. He sort of jokingly says it.
Tiberius, as you kind of hear this, you kind of look toward the edge of the room. You see it lurking near the stairwell of the upstairs, staring. It stares at you.
I can't have the pastries and something staring at me like that. I'm just gonna go on this side.
The being kind of looks at all of you. It's like, my name is Kohana. The most call me Ko for short. Could be a little hard for some people to pronounce. But yes, I'm sorry I'm a little late, but I had to talk to someone I know about your situation. We can help you, if it means anything.
Yes, you had to talk to a man about a steal.
About a what?
Exactly. Alright, so how can you help us?
Well, I can take you to where you need to go, actually.
But I thought we needed magical rocks.
Yes, but we have to go somewhere to get those.
The worst part about this is that Flix has his own goddamn sigil stone.
Yes,
Yes. Yes, he does.
he does. But he got his a different method. He got his
His
through
sigil
Jericho.
stone that says, I don't scots to go.
Yes.
Yeah, Flix got his through a different method than what you guys are taking.
Oh, we appreciate the help, good sir and or madam, but where must we go?
Oh, well, we need to head up top for that. We had to head to the council chambers, actually. A little offshoot from it, but...
I'm sorry, at the word of council, there's literal fear for half a second in Tiberius' eye. Council?
Yes, it's where the lords convene. It's what we call the giant pillars in the center of the Foundry.
Is that where we had that party?
Yes, actually.
And we ate all that food and it was delicious. And then there was that one guy who was big with like 7 arms.
7? That's a lot of arms. I don't know anyone with 7 arms.
Kind of gold.
Gold.
He was beside the really short one.
He looks confused.
Everyone is confused when Flix talks.
It's true.
I think Flix has a natural confusing blather.
That's right.
But yeah,
Flix is
I
the
mean-
reason Flix talk.
Go
Well,
ahead.
Flix is Fae, so
But yeah, Kohana looks incredibly confused at you, Flix. Like, well, I don't know anyone with 7 arms, and there's a lot of short people.
Well, there's a chance I did count the arms wrong. And the short guy, he was like really tiny with like bluish green flowy locks of flow. And Jericho said not to call him short because it angers him because he's short.
Oh, you're talking about Madarakt and the No Lord Makumbo, right?
Yeah! Mr.
Not-
Rock and Majudo.
First of all, Madarakt only has 4 arms, not 7.
I said I could have counted them wrong. But he was gold. Or orange. Or golden orange.
Yes, everyone knows that the little bean hates being called small. And it's Madarakt. You want to say his full name, or else he might. Well, they're very short-tempered. Makumbo, though.
He seemed really kind when I met him.
Yes.
I mean, I even said he was pleased to meet me by mistake. He
Well,
laughed. We are like best friends now.
he's gonna stare at you for a few seconds, almost in disbelief.
Oh man, I can't wait till I meet him again and walk into his room and be like, yo, buddy, how's it going? And then get thrown out Jazz and Jeff style.
More power to you. Pretty much, yeah. But Kawana will actually kind of look past you over to Rose. It's like, oh, you must be also one of their friends?
In a matter of speaking.
The friendliest.
Oh.
This guy loves Faye. Loves them. That's why he's drinking in a Faye bar.
Well, everyone comes here, really, even from all outsiders to the
You're
vampire.
right, because everyone loves the Faye because we're such good people.
Well, Auntie runs a very...
Only play like 7 tricks a day if we're on an off day.
Tiberius, you actually try, but as you kind of grab at his hair, it just dissipates into nothing. It's almost like it's constantly flowing and vanishing. It's very strange. But as you grab it, you do realize it does feel like you're grabbing at sand or dust, but it vanishes very quickly. So it's a very weird feeling.
I think the term you're looking for, Nova, is majestic.
Fantastic, yes. But, Kohan actually looks a little confused at you, Rose. It's like, well, if they knew a primordial, then why didn't they just ask you to help them get one?
Wait, he can do that?
I thought so. I mean,
Rose just tilts their head a little bit.
Various
Well,
huffs.
they are
and
new primordials, so maybe they didn't know they had that kind of power.
Oh, there. Oh, you're a formling. That would explain it, really. The younger ones don't really know more the nuances of things.
He's a baby.
Well, our communal memory is more basic knowledge than the intricacies which come from experience. So I can definitely understand why you wouldn't have known. You see, the chamber that we have to take those who don't have a sigil only opens for primordials.
I think it was OC. But
Oh.
Oh, sorry.
it's all.
Oh, that was okay.
I mean, he should be staring daggers at me, in all honesty. I'm trying to steal parts of this other primordial. I'm not being subtle about it.
No, just imagining you're trying to catch like a fly in the air, but you're trying to catch Kohana, so you're like.
Yes,
Tips.
that sounds like kids.
So he's jumping around like he's trying to swat a mosquito, but failing.
Essentially.
Only after the 22nd try.
Tibbs, would you please try refrain from sullying the floor?
Wait, how much sand is on the floor now?
Actually, no, there isn't. In fact, if you look around Kohana, there's nothing.
Even more fascinating. So, about these magical stones, so that we can walk around and be not killed on sight, is it?
It's a little more complicated than that, but it's the gist of it.
Yes, I prefer not the killing part.
Well, I mean, you still have to obey the law, but sigil stones, for those who don't know, they're essentially a permit for an outsider to live here. Without them, they basically are, well, you get the idea. They're essentially living here illegally. But having a sigil means that you're allowed to move around at a more lenient curfew. You can own property, albeit in places that primordials have designated. And the sigil itself gives protection from the more hostile elements of the plains. It also allows you to buy from vendors.
Wait, we can buy land with these things?
Yes.
I need to get me a tiny house.
I'm just imagining Flix buys a little tiny house that they can't actually get into, like a pixie house. Like, I own property.
It's a birdhouse.
He just walks around with a like potted plant size tiny house and is like, "This is my property."
I own land.
It's a mobile home.
Amen.
It's a mobile home.
Mobile home, I love it.
I'll buy a big house with a tiny house in, so I'll own double land.
There you go. There you go.
Landception.
All coming together.
Landception.
Why do I imagine Flix is going to be the one who sees like a little pixie mount that's a rabbit and buys it because it's like, the buns for the buns.
Yes.
I
Wait till
Okay,
we all have riding bun steeds. It'll be perfect.
so in
I
all
will not be
honesty,
your steed.
We'll ride into battle.
I checked out for the last minute accidentally, came back, heard mobile home, and now I'm just thinking of a show called Trailer Park Rabbits.
Nice.
Oh my
Nice.
gosh. But Kahana will kind of nod. It's like, well, yes, the pay in mind it's in permitted areas that the primordials have set aside for outsiders, but primordials, on the other hand, can settle wherever they want.
I need to mention that specific land and take it with me everywhere I go.
Yes, I guess so.
Sweet. I got a yes. I'm taking it.
Varius raises a finger and is like, well, let's go ahead and get started. If
Yes, of course.
we do appreciate this service, by the way.
And
I should probably warn you, the one that's, what you're about to go through is a little strange, I've been told.
Stranger than people made of
So,
fire walking around? I
Just-
think not.
I'd say just keep an open mind.
I always have an open mind.
I mean, even more so than probably normal. Just, come with me then. He'll actually begin to lead you to the front of the tavern. Let me actually get some music for you guys.
Various. The being made of sand, you can't get the sand.
I'd like to do something just before we leave. That's all right.
Sure.
Rose finishes their mug and is going to concentrate for about a minute on the leaves that are still remaining swirling at the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
And is going to, in a way, kind of try to divine, just in general, what sort of vibe this day's events are likely to bring.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, are you reading tea leaves?
As you do this, Rose, and you kind of see everyone packing up for a moment, but you kind of see the world freeze around you, almost as if you're like stopping a program. You see the leaves have stopped as well, and you see lines, sharp lines, kind of pulsing briefly through the world around you. It's quiet, it's still, it's calm, all before everything seems to once again start up again. But you're overwhelmed with the feeling of things will be okay.
Well, I feel raring and ready. How about the rest of you? And just casually slides the mug across the bar.
And Auntie will take the mug and she'll kind of pull it on back and it's like, well, if you're all ready, then I'll go ahead and take you to where we need to go. If there's no
I'm ready to
objection.
buy some real estate. Let's do this.
We'll follow your lead, good Koana.
Please just call me Ko. It's easier.
Glaring daggers at Various.
So Cole will actually take you guys outside, so I'm glad I can actually reuse this. Let me switch the music. Yeah. And as you head outside, you are greeted with the usual dark tones of the Fadar Commons. There's chatter, there's guards patrolling the streets. It's actually rather lively for early in the morning. You actually have a few vendors setting up on the streets themselves, Fae selling their goods. You can actually rather distinctly smell the smell of pastries and baked goods coming from across the street, as you may have learned from Auntie last night, from a bakery that seems to be ready to open as well. But Ko kind of takes you out onto the sidewalk and we'll kind of wait for you all to gather up.
Is the bakery open?
It does look open, yes.
Sweet, we're in the bakery.
The moment you kind of branch off, Ko kind of just, you see his ears drop back. It's like, okay. There are horses, Tibbs. You can actually see some horse-drawn carriages on the road. You actually don't see the building that you went into, Rose. It's gone. It's not there. Very strange.
He's looking for face prints.
Oh, face prints. No, nothing. There's nothing there.
Just a hunch.
But, no, the bakery is open, and Flix, you kind of rush over to it, kind of leaving everyone in the dust, and the door is very much open. In fact, it's not even a door, it's kind of like a draped shawl with beads that kind of jingle as you push the side, and you are just overwhelmed with the smell of sweet cakes and breads, and you can kind of see...
It's like being a fae in a candy store, but the candy is cake.
And there's actually someone behind the counter that kind of greets you as you walk in, and they're a white rabbit.
Hey,
in a bakery outfit, and like sort of like an apron and stuff like that. It's covered in like flour and chocolate and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's a white rabbit.
Oh my god. I would like this much, and I hold my arms out.
It kind of stares up at you with big black eyes, like, much? That's you didn't specify exactly what you needed. I still have time on some things to come out, so you might have to wait.
I want this much.
Yes, again, that's specified.
This much. Well, pastries. Going on an adventure. Need adventure pastries.
Does anyone follow Flix by the chance?
We're just watching at this point.
There's one rabbit angry in the window, and Flick's holding his arms up, being like, I need this! And the rabbit's just getting angrier in the window.
Actually, you see Varius and Tibbs, you actually see a white rabbit in like a chef's apron and chef's attire, kind of holding a pan that they were about to put into the oven, and they're staring at Flix and kind of arguing with them. The white rabbit kind of stares at you for a second and is like, what in Wonderland is a Gardanian? However you pronounce that.
What in Gardania is a wonderland?
The realm of the Fae, of course.
What?
Do you not know of Wonderland?
Rabbit. God.
I
Yeah.
am the white rabbit, of course.
I'm a white rabbit as well. I've never heard of Wonderland.
It kind of stares at you. It's like, okay, hold on. He kind of sets the rack into the oven, kind of closes it, and you see there's a lot of clocks all over the place, just kind of quietly ticking in the background. And as he kind of sets one next to the oven and turns back to it, it's like, okay, time set. Now, what do you want? Why are you in my shop?
Pastries. This many!
This many what? Okay, you should have specified that in the first place.
Adventure pastries!
Varius is looking between Tiberius and the white rabbit and is sort of comparing them for a moment before thumping a foot.
In fact, a very interesting thing that you notice, Varius, is that the white rabbit, the baker, his ears are far straighter and more cut than Tiberius. But they also seem to be a bit... There's something off about them. There's something very off about them that feels weird.
Can I roll a perception?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Now, what were you trying to look for?
Well, you mentioned something was off. Can I identify what's off?
You can. You kind of see an unnatural glimmer around this particular rabbit. Something that you've actually noticed with Flix and every other Fae. Almost an uncanniness about them that makes them seem normal if you look at them just at a glance. But once you really focus, you can tell that they're not what they completely appear to be. That there's something else underneath the surface. That there's something more. That there's Fae bullshittery, as they say.
Flix steps up behind Varius and sees.
You mean roast?
Yeah, roast. I don't know why. Yeah.
Everyone wants to be Flix, let's be honest.
Flix is amazing.
Flix is everything. Flix is reality.
Damn, yippee.
Rose will step up behind Varius and notice how he is intently concentrating. What's the deal?
Not Gardanian, but definitely Fae.
Oh, yeah, that's glamour. They love that. You'd never get old of that.
It's true, glamour's the best.
Right, well,
Now about my pastries, I need them.
While you guys have been saying this, the White Rabbit chef has been kind of he gets a big box out and it's like, well, I don't have anything that's quite your length of arms, but and he starts kind of putting things into it. It's like that and that and that. And it's like then he kind of pauses for a second and kind of stares you down, Flix. It's like, wait a second.
Out of character, I'd like you to know that, Jim, I didn't order those 400 children pastries alone, okay? Garth helped.
Wait, did you actually do the things with in
Yes.
person?
Yeah, we got
Yes.
it.
Oh my
Yes.
We didn't realize they were made of children until it was too late.
I mean to give you nice dreams. And
They were delicious, and then we got hooked on them, and then we're like, well, there's a festival coming up, so let's order 400 of them. And then Jen's like, you know, those are made of children, right? And we're like, oh, shit. We're the bad guys, aren't we?
I mean, that's the entire campaign. That's the entire campaign. Doing something and then realizing it all backfires.
A gypsy bard.
Anyway, but the White Rabbit kind of stares at you. It's like, wait a second. You're Jericho's new little toy, aren't you?
I am his apprentice, yes.
Oh, well, that's a different case. He pulls out a bigger box.
All right. Flash out the Jericho badge more often. Sweet.
He kind of just puts in a bunch of cakes, some roll cakes, some pastries into it, and closes up. It's like, just make sure you let
an ambassador in training. I tip my hat to you.
Just make sure you let Jericho know how generous I've been.
I know Jericho to come here and have the best pastry he's ever had in his entire life.
Oh yeah, Ko's been listening to this and he's just kind of staring at you guys from outside like, what is happening?
So, are we going to continue? Varius is trying to be patient, but he is impatient at his core and is sort of tapping his foot.
Don't worry, Mary, we almost have enough pastry, so go visit those lords with. In case they get grumpy. Then we can either feed them or throw pies at them.
I mean, you could just eat them. That's what they're for. They're not made of anything strange. They're just pastries.
Then we're going to eat the hell out of them, and they're going to be delicious.
I certainly hope so. Auntie sells them off quite frequently.
Oh, these are the ones we had at Auntie's shop?
Oh, yes, she can't bake. I'm the one that does it.
Of course, the proper Fae, a baking Fae.
Well, I went from being a timekeeper to a baker, so I suppose that's the exact right path of employment.
Varius is also...
No, it isn't. That doesn't make any sense. Didn't you become a clocksmith?
He kind of looks at the clocks on the walls.
Are you moonlight clocksmith?
I used to.
Oh. I just like saying the word clocksmith.
Yeah, Ko's kind of just waiting outside for you guys. And it's like,
alright, what rocks to get? Come on, Buns, we have magical rocks.
Ko kind of leans down to you, Varius. It's not very hard because he's not very tall. And it's like, is this normal?
So far, yes.
I'm so sorry.
No. They've saved our lives with healing, and I am more than thankful.
I mean, I've had some strange friends myself in my time, but oh, the Fae are always a strange batch, aren't they?
You obviously haven't been where I'm from.
We're all from different places, my friend. A lot of different places. Some more horrific than others.
Oh, that's not ominous at all.
But we're in a better place now, right? This place is not as bad as some others.
Right. His ears sort of pin back a little bit as he starts to follow the others.
And Ko kind of cringes. Sorry. may not be fiddling with clocks. Kohana's actually going to start leading the way, so he's left the bakery. Where are you guys going?
Following Ko.
Following on to find out where we're actually going.
All right, so he kind of
Yep.
leads you through the Fey Dark Commons. And I want you all to make a perception check for me.
I refuse.
You refuse?
I mean, it's going to be 1 anyhow. I said, Tibbs, perception is a guaranteed 1.
Impressive, dude. You did that twice in one day.
That was amazing. It wasn't even a 1. It was a 0.
This is Tibbs. If you want to notice something, it's not going to happen unless it revolves around him.
It's the third one this session.
This is Tibbs. The dice always know.
It's perfect. And the worst part is the perception wasn't even very high. In fact, everyone but Tibbs sees this. But there's like 3 balls of light that are actually following you guys, and kind of every time you look back to look at them, they kind of don't very subtly fly away to try to hide. But there's definitely some fairies following you guys. Tibbs doesn't see them. He's completely oblivious.
What are fairies?
They're my fan club. Come on out, ladies.
In fact, Flix, as you say that, you actually see 3 of the figures bolt out from the bushes, realizing it's you, and kind of flit around your head, kind of giggling and cheering and stuff like that. And it's like, there's obvious fan battle going on.
I'm a pretty big deal. Come on.
In fact, one of them is actually outright saying, it's like, Mr. Flix, why are you out here just out in the open? Oh my god!
Because I like to bring a little joy to people's lives.
And yeah, they're definitely bombarding you with questions like, why are you out here? Can I have your autograph? Is your hair real? All kinds of...
Yeah. I'll find some autographs when we walk, talking about how wonderful I am when my next solo will drop.
Yeah, they're just basically fangasming over you as you guys are walking toward the edge of the Fey Dark Commons. So
Love having groupies.
you have groupies. The little fairies. But as you kind of reach to the edge of the Fey Dark Commons and start to head up to the Foundry, they kind of disperse as you have an important job to do.
Of course. Thank you, ladies. Next time. And that smoldering look and the wink.
As you guys head up the stairs, you are entering into the Foundry itself, the upper floors. But you come out of what almost looks like essentially a subway station kind of hallway into the main road around the larger ring of the Foundry itself. The sky is bright, but there's still stars in the sky. There seems to be stars all the time, as well as a rainbow-colored aurora borealis kind of gently moving through the sky itself. There's people on the roads, there's plenty of activity happening, but it seems like the festival is not actually happening today. There are some stands set up, but they're closed at the moment, as people seem to mostly be going around with their normal lives. There is some cleanup happening in some cases, but Kohana doesn't seem to be occupied with this, and is instead actually leading you along toward a large gate that leads into the council hall, or rather the area surrounding it. He'll kind of look back at all of you just to mostly see what you're doing. And he's kind of got one ear tilted to listen to Rose, Varius, and Tiberius. Well, Mr. Rose, was it right?
Mhm.
It's something that comes with experience. I mean, I didn't even know about this when I first came here, too. It's not included with the all-encompassing memory.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize this whole existing as a primordial thing could really use an instruction manual. I don't know, maybe pass it on to the higher-ups at some point.
Well, Well, I mean, there is one actually that's written by a friend of a friend. Maybe I can introduce you to him at a later date.
For the record, that was a rhetorical statement, but point taken.
He kind of shrinks back. I'm sorry. He looks very timid. Very timid.
Now, Rose, don't be scaring our tiny little happy guy.
My magic rock.
We all
Well-
want our magic rocks, Barry. No.
You'll get your pet rocks, just hold on to your paws.
Do you even know what that saying means?
Ko kind of
Not
looks
paws,
at you.
pinnacles.
Yeah, Ko's like, I have hooves. Does that count? He kind of looks down at his feet, and he does have hooves. But as you guys continue moving along, you enter into the large courtyards of the council hall. There's like soft blue grasses and bushes. There's large, almost, instead of fences or walls, they're actually hedges. But he leads you along a very specified path over to what seems to be a corner of it all that seems to house a very interesting structure. And before you sits a very unassuming dome-like building.
What are we doing in a burrows?
It's not a play structure.
Mm-hmm. But as you approach, you notice that there's actually a figure standing outside the doors as well. A very almost human-looking figure, almost strikingly so. The first normal human that you've ever seen. They seem to acknowledge Ko with a slight nod and a wave before looking back at the rest of you. Would you like to do the honors, Jen?
So these are the ones?
Ko kind of nods his head as he approaches the figure. It's like, looks like it. Well, one of them already has one. I think it's for the other two. He kind of motions to Tiberius and Varius. Do you think they'll be all right in there? Considering.
He sort of ambles up, his hands in his pockets, looking over the two rabbits for a moment, before shrugging.
Honestly, with the chosen ones, we'll be perfectly fine.
Oh, chosen ones.
Kohana looks at Leo like sort of like with a see what I mean.
Well, it's not exactly my decision. It's always worth a shot. Go on in.
And actually, instead of Kohana opening the door, the human approaches the door and kind of traces some sort of invisible pattern on it, and it opens with just a rumbling of stone. And Kohana looks back at Tiberius and Varius and is like, well, only you two are going to be able to go in. He looks at Roast and Flex. It's like, would you mind waiting out here with me and my friend?
I'll write the buns. I'm gonna go and give a pep talk to the buns now.
Oh, please no.
It's like a parent and their child going to school for the first day. It might be scary in there, but you'll have each other, so keep each other safe. Play nice. Don't insult the people inside. You're gonna make me look bad, and we don't want that.
Rose will walk over to Varius and just stare him in the eye for a moment. I'm gonna be honest, I'm just as lost with this right now as you are, but I'm sure whatever will happen there will not maim you physically or mentally too badly, so yeah, just have some fun in there, and we'll put a hand on Varius' shoulder for just a brief moment.
Roll me a 1d100 real quick.
Oh no. Oh,
Oh,
no.
yes.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, no.
Oh no! Oh yes!
So, as you reach to kind of touch Varius on the shoulder, to try to channel some protective magic into him, something feels off. In fact, as you kind of place your hand onto him, it sparks as you try to channel your spell. And let me just do a...
Oh no.
Not Tiberius' fault.
Okay, what is number 9? Let's see. Gotta bring up my chart. That is...
Watch, it's some necrotic spell.
It is...
Just takes his arm off.
No, thankfully not. Thankfully not. It is... Interesting. Okay.
Oh, no.
So, in fact, as you kind of take your hand back, kind of startled by the spark, you notice that there's a weird, almost red tinge around Varius. And Varius, for the next minute, you regain 5 hit points at the start of each of your turns.
Oh.
So you now have fast heal 5 for the next minute.
Hey.
That's not exactly what Rose is trying to do, but that's what happens. Even you, Varius.
Rose, for the next 8 seconds, just has this half-mouth frozen look at Varius.
Varius's fur bristles at the shock at first, and then is sort of looking at what's going on. And does Varius have any idea what, like, can they sense the healing or tell that it's?
Yeah, they can tell. It's very obvious. It's almost like a warm burning sensation, but it feels good.
I just like to point out that most warm burning sensations don't feel good.
Yeah.
Somebody that's in a CAT scan machine, the warm burning does not feel good.
But no, this one actually does. It's almost like a cleansing in a way. Cleansing kind of feeling.
Like an animal?
The doctors told me, and then it felt like my body was on fire.
Oh, I bet. Like a sauna.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Honestly, can we go now?
He sort of blinks at Rose and then slowly nods. And
You actually,
I'm gonna hug Tiberius. Don't worry, you're a little trooper. You can do this. They wipe away from my eye.
Let go of me.
I want
Just growing up.
While you guys are doing this, can you please make me a perception?
oh no.
Why do you do this to me?
It's funny.
Come
But
on,
it's irrelevant.
Aw,
okay, cool.
you let me down.
Well, it has to do with him, so yes, of course he'll roll.
You let me down.
It wasn't very high. So I'm waiting for Flix and Rose.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Oh! You shouldn't be rolling at advantage like that, by the way. So,
I think it's accidental.
I'll be taking the first roll, but Varius and Tibbs, as Rose and Flix are kind of going over you guys, you kind of do hear something with your very large ears. You kind of hear Ko talking to the figure off to the side, the human-looking figure. It's like, was that what I thought it was? Is that what's... They're kind of chatting amongst each other.
Yes, Varius has some way with magic. That's all. Let's continue on, please. Get this magical stone and continue.
In fact, Varius especially, you see that Ko looks worried.
Varius's ears stem back, but they do start down the inside the building.
All right. So Rose and Flix, you are outside with Ko and his friend. And the moment the Varius and Tiberius walk past the barrier into the dome, Instead of the doors closing slowly like they had opened, they shut with a slam.
I pulled up my paper bag.
Don't worry. Either we come out alive, or you get roast rabbit for lunch.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
And inside, as the door slams behind you too, you see a calm pool of water with a centralized elevated platform with a strange orb-like sphere hovering in the center. It almost feels like it's beckoning you to it.
Honestly, does this seem terrifying to you?
It definitely stirs a few old memories.
All right. Obviously, we want to touch the orb and get this over with. Let's go. You first.
Varius looks around, seeing if there's anything else in case this is some sort of test.
What are you waiting for, Varius? Touch the orb.
There's nothing else. In fact, the room itself seems to go on forever. The door behind you is gone. There's just nothing but darkness around you. The only points of light is the orb.
His tail flicks a little bit. And he slowly goes up to it and presses his paw against it.
He's just grabbing the pen and pushing it to the orb.
Wait, what?
Oh no!
Did
Wait,
Chips do it too?
Of course he did!
Did you
Let's
both
go.
do it?
Yes!
Okay. The moment you both place your hands onto the orb, you see that there are several lines around the outside of the orb, and they begin to fill in with a bright blue light. However, as you try to pull your hand away, you find that your paws are stuck to the orb.
Varius, I can't move my hand.
The light begins to filter out from the lines and then trace into your own paws. You see these straight, almost mechanical lines starting to etch their way up your arm.
Varius?
And what do you do?
I'm blaming Varius.
Of course. And Varius tries to tug his paw away, but it's obvious that he can't. And he's just going to... he's going to try not to panic.
Mm-hmm.
Gibbs is not trying not to panic. He's panicking.
Check for Dr. Eggman. We're about to be roboticized.
Various, since you're the one that's not panicking, you actually look over to Tiberius and you see that the lines have formed its way up into his head and has gone into his eyes, making his eyes glow right before your vision is coated in light yourself.
Oh, yay. That's not horrifying at all.
You two feel as if you're now floating in a white void of nothingness.
Wait, is Varius there?
You're both in the same area. You can both see each other.
Good job, Varius. Now we're dead.
In fact, as you talk, you notice that your voice doesn't echo.
No, we're dead. We're in an echoless room. Wait, that doesn't mean we're dead.
Dead.
Where are we?
If
Can you
you
do anything?
stop to look around first.
Mm-hmm.
We look around.
Perception.
Oh, please.
It's a white room.
Mm-hmm.
That is persuasion, not perception.
Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
He's panicking. That's what's going on.
You didn't
He's on high
fail!
alert.
It didn't fail.
Very
Various, yeah, indeed. It does seem to be a white room, but there's something that you can't quite catch on the edge of your vision. Tiberius, on the other hand, you notice something moving far ahead of you. Amongst the light, there seems to be a dot of bright light that seems to even stand out amongst the white nothingness, and it's moving. In fact,
Varius is going to chase it.
all right. Do you run after it or do you walk after it?
Run. And tell Varius to hurry up.
Okay. Perception again, please.
God damn it, no.
At disadvantage.
I'm going to counter that with Tides of Chaos, giving myself advantage and therefore just having a normal roll. Which is
Okay.
still going to be horrible.
All right. You still don't notice it as you kind of start bolting forward toward this little glowing point. But then you see the white is breaking away in front of you, revealing a black expanse of stars, and you just... You almost feel like you're about to fall until you actually fall, and you fall face first into what feels like water. In fact, as the area of white breaks away, you also see this as well, Varius, as the white around you shatters. And you're just greeted with darkness and stars.
I think we broke it.
What did... Various looking around slowly, and what would he have to roll to see if he recognizes any of the constellations?
Arcana, actually.
Ooh, I'm good at that.
Mm-hmm. You recognize a lot of them. In fact, there's also several you don't recognize. You recognize several of the constellations that mark the marks of your gods, the moon bunnies, the serpent, but they're all mingled with other ones that you do not recognize. Almost as if the sky, this whatever this is, encompasses the stars from every known reality. It's beautiful. Its massiveness.
Tiberius?
Pulling head from water area he landed in. Yes, Various.
He starts to point at the constellation that he remembers, and then at another one that Tiberius may not know, but he certainly does.
Honestly, is this an astrology lesson?
He huffs and finally starts just walking down the path a little bit, or through the water, I guess.
As you walk, you notice that your footprints leave ripples, but for some reason your paws are not getting wet. It's like water, but at the same time it's not. Each ripple seems to cause the stars below you to move and shift as well. In fact, as you kind of watch the ripples, they even ripple up around you and change the sky with each step. It's almost bizarre. But
just a little bit.
But you do see a point of light far ahead of you, as well as what seems to be a pathway.
Varius is going to move slowly and be a little bit more cautious as they move forward to help Tibbs up.
Okay. There's also something you notice. There's no sound, just a low, droning, sort of static on the edge of your subconscious. But as you slowly move forward, you notice that the pathway ahead of you, at least where you're walking, there's occasionally a stone here or there, but they look strange, almost as if they start and then stop. Start and then stop, or pieces parts scattered around before they begin to make a more solid, straight path in front of you, leading into a large, almost light gray toned hallway. But before you reach the hallway, you actually see the actual hallway is breaking into these sort of blocks as well. You see a little mote of light hovering there, watching you.
Various.
I've never come across anything like this.
2 days ago, we hadn't come across a creature made of flame. We hadn't come across a creature made of air, a creature made of dust. Now you're saying that you haven't come across a point of light.
It moves around.
He glowers at Tiberius, huffs, and is like, well, I guess we sort of did all those, at least the elemental servitors.
You kind of see the mote of light approach you, Varius, and kind of hover before your face. It's almost like a little fairy, but you can't make out any form aside from a ball of light.
Be careful. It could be like a murder hornet. Do not move.
Murder hornet. That's Various moves his head back just a little bit, trying to focus on this mote of light, looking at it carefully.
Mm-hmm. And with that, can we take our 15-minute break? I need to go eat something.
Yes.
So we will leave it here for a moment, so you guys get a chance to get a snack, get a drink, go to the bathroom, and we'll be back in 15 minutes.